Starting here in the Middle East, Lebanese President Michel Aoun has approved the Israel maritime border deal, adding that the agreement did not signify any type of normalization. He told the nation in a speech a short while ago that the deal is an historic achievement in which Lebanon has regained 860 square kilometers of disputed territory. This comes 24 hours after Israel's government and security cabinet gave the green light for the deal, which was brokered by the US. Here's more from the outgoing Lebanese leader.
After the Israeli government announced its approval, I announced the approval by Lebanon of the final version prepared by the American mediator to delineate the southern maritime border.
So to break down the details, our Middle East correspondent Ariel Oseran is here in studio. And Ariel, the clock is really ticking down on Michel Aoun's term. Very likely this is his last swan song, so to speak. What does it mean for the people of Lebanon, that announcement we just heard?
Well, I think most of all for the leader of or the president of Lebanon, this is a very significant achievement. As you mentioned, at the end of the month, Michel Aoun will end his term as president, and the process to finding his successor is not doing pretty well in Lebanon. They haven't managed to move the vote forward. When Aoun himself was supposed to take office 6 years ago, it came after 29 months without a president in Lebanon. So this also explains part of the story here, that Aoun's departure from office was a key factor in expediting this agreement. But if we look more broadly at the interest of the Lebanese people, I think the 89-year-old president described it very well. He said that, "I hope this agreement will lay the foundations for an economic revival that Lebanon so desperately needs." Now, while we're seeing pro-Hezbollah media in Lebanon trying to show this as a victory for Hezbollah that managed to force Israel to concessions to wait with pumping gas from the Karish rig until Lebanon secures its rights, that is juxtaposed by other voices that we're hearing in Lebanon that are praising this agreement, that are looking at this as a general success for the country. And perhaps there is still a long ways to go to energetic independence, but for a country that has just roughly 1 or 2 hours of electricity a day originating from state-run power plants, this gas deal is something that Lebanese hope will help boost, or at least get them out of this very dire economic crisis they're in for the past few years.
And of course, given the history between the two countries, the fact that this deal is actually happening in itself is so historic. 11 years in the making. Amos Hochstein, the mediator from the United States, speaking to Channel 12 News, an Israeli channel here. Obviously, the question comes up in a case like this, who benefits the most? Who won, so to speak, the most out of this deal?
Well, Amos Hochstein himself, he gets quite a lot of diplomatic points for securing this deal, mainly a lot of it due to personal connections that he has reportedly made on both sides of this new demarcated border. But if we look at what he said today to Israel's Channel 12, now he's Israeli born, by the way. The fact that he served as a mediator between these two countries, I think it's notable. But he answered criticism mainly brought forth by former ambassador to Israel, Michael Friedman, that basically said that Israel caved in, and from a deal that was negotiated in the past that were to split pretty much down the middle, this Israel got 0 and gave 100%. Let's take a listen to what Hochstein, how he explained this.
I've seen some comments from people in the press who've said that they had a better deal. I want to remind people, there was no deal. There is no other deal. There were proposals that Israel asked for that were proposals that were slightly better for Israel. There were proposals that were better for Lebanon. But those are just proposals. We can't compare an actual agreement, and it's normal that neither side gets everything they want. But I think that what Israelis have to understand, this is not a traditional agreement. It is not a line where somebody got more, and by extension, by definition, somebody got less. Both sides could win here because both sides wanted different things, needed different things. Lebanon needed the gas development to be the last country to finally join the Eastern Mediterranean development after Cyprus and Israel and Egypt and Greece. But Israel did not need the gas in that particular field because it was never going to be developed only from the Israeli side. It was impossible. And therefore, what Israel really needs is the security and knowing that from the Karish field all the way down south, there will not be the threat of missiles. There was not going to be the threat of harm that would come in Israeli waters. So Israel gets stability and security. And I will tell you, Israel got negotiated very hard on security arrangements closer to the shore, and it got what it wanted.
So just a quick correction, former Ambassador David Friedman from the U.S. to Israel. Now, as Hochstein explained, this is in the final stages. Now Israel has just a couple weeks for the parliament to review it, then the government to approve it. This will be days before the elections, so it's definitely down to the wire.